Good afternoon, everybody. Hello. Welcome to another week of Caitlin's Music City Skinny. Today's topic is an extremely timely topic. So we're going to be talking about, let's see if we can fix this real quick. Nope. Oh, well, the ticker didn't work the right way. Okay, so this is an extremely timely topic. What we're going to be talking about today is how to buy in a seller's market. This is absolutely timely, especially for right here in Nashville, because we are in a seller's market. Things are moving unbelievably fast. Like, I am working with a couple of out-of-state buyers at the moment, and they're telling me which homes they like, and they want to see it when they're here before too long. And then the homes are flying under contract, and it's not just entry level or mid entry level. Some of these are even, the upper higher priced homes. So, it can feel kind of like a disadvantage if you're a buyer, but at the same time, like, it's we're very fortunate that our market is still moving forward in the midst of everything that's happened. I know agents in other markets across the country that are not as fortunate, and their market has kind of come to a standstill, which is not what you want on top of everything else that's going on and has been going on. So let's go ahead and dive into it today in how to buy and win out in a seller's market. So you're probably going to think the first one is a given, but it's so important, and that is being prepared. Now, this means having your pre-approval letter in place, because believe me, if you go home shopping without it and you find a home and you fall in love, and then all of a sudden you're wanting to get pre-approved so you can write an offer in on it, and it's a multiple offer situation, you are already at a major, major disadvantage, and it's going to be really hard to win that home. So you're going to want to get that pre-approval, have it locked and loaded and in place. And you're going to want to make sure that you have an agent who's armed with the knowledge of what the market's doing, so that they can best guide you in how to write a strong offer. So when you're in a seller's market, that basically means that there is a huge demand and not enough supply on the market. And this typically results in a lot of multiple offer situations, which is exactly what we're seeing right now in Nashville. And so when you're in those situations, you've got to be prepared. You have got to come, you've got to come to the market armed and ready to go. So the biggest thing is just being prepared. Have your agent explain to you what is happening in the market so that you can go in with your best foot forward. You do not want to be behind everybody else when it comes to this kind of situation. So you want to know, you want to have that pre-approval in place. You want to know what's happening in the market, and you want to know that, like, when it's time to pull the trigger on a home, you are ready to rock and roll. Number two, that's going to be asking what the seller wants and doing it. So when it comes time, we find a house, you love it, you are ready to write an offer in on it. That's when I'm talking to the seller's agent, saying, what is it that your sellers most want? Like, do they want to be out of their home quicker? Is their timeline more flexible? You really want to figure out what the seller's priorities are, and then you can cater your offer to the sellers to give you a better chance of winning. You want to be as accommodating to what the seller needs and wants as possible. Now, the third thing to do is you're going to want to increase your earnest money deposit. So your earnest money is basically like good faith money. You are putting that money down as soon as you go under contract. And the more money, and typically earnest money is about 1% of the purchase price. But if you really want to show the seller that you are serious about this home, I always, always, always suggest increasing the amount of money that you put down in your earnest money deposit. That just shows that you are serious, you are moving forward in good faith in financing the home and getting the deal done. It lets the seller know. Also, it just sends the message that you are ready, willing, and able to close this, because the last thing they want to do is select your offer and then financing falling apart, and then they're back at square one with having to put the home back on the market. And so if you are curious about exactly how much earnest money to put down, that is a discussion we will absolutely have, and I will guide you to the best of my ability in terms of what I believe will help get your offer accepted. Number 4 is going to be what I call a letter of the heart. So a lot of people will do writing they'll write a letter to the sellers explaining their situation. I kind of have this strategy, but on steroids that I share exclusively with my clients when we're in this situation. I kind of have a little special thing kind of tucked away to use, and it has worked every single time. So it's kind of like this, but just like I said, it's on steroids. It's better and it wins out on multiple offers. So, but yeah, one thing you can do is you can write that letter. You know, if you are starting a new family in this home, it's just telling the sellers that, you know, this is where you imagine growing your family. And the more details and the more you can pull on the heartstrings, that's better. But again, I also have another just strategy that's kind of like this, but just better. And again, that's what I use with my buyers. It's just kind of like our secret weapon. So, and again, it helps win multiple offer situations. Now, number 5 is going to be only include the necessary contingencies. So when you're writing an offer in a multiple offer situation, the best way to make the offer as strong as possible is going to be limiting the amount of contingencies. So if you do have to secure a mortgage, of course, the financing contingency still needs to be in there. If you want to put the inspection contingency in there, which is something I always recommend, the best thing to do is tighten up timeframes so that you can get through that inspection hurdle and get through the resolution period as quick as possible to keep, you know, you just want to be able to jump these hurdles as soon as possible so that the seller knows, okay, we've cleared these, because I've said it before, but sometimes the inspection is where a contract ends up falling apart because the buyers are either not willing to deal with the number of issues with the home, or maybe the seller's not willing to make the necessary repairs, and things just kind of fall apart. And a seller doesn't want that to happen, especially when they're trying to get their home sold. And so the best thing to do is just tighten up those time frames. So instead of having, 7 days for the inspection, bring it down to maybe 4, 3, 2, just depending on what works. But again, you really want to make sure that you're not going crazy adding in extra contingencies if at all possible. The best thing is putting in only the necessary ones and moving on. And then step number 6 is going to be writing your highest and best offer. So I know when I'm working with first-time buyers, especially if they love HGTV as much as I do, they've probably watched House Hunters, and they've probably watched these shows where, you see the buyers going out and it'll say the list price, and then when you see what it sells for, it's sometimes $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 lower than the asking price. And so a lot of times, buyers will walk into it and they want to get the lowest price possible. In a seller's market, you cannot do that. You want to come to the tables with guns blazing. You want to bring your best, highest, and strongest offer to the table. I know that sometimes people can say, well, let's start here and allow wiggle room. When you're in a multiple offer situation, you do not want the opportunity to lose out because you wanted to start kind of going back and forth. You go in with your best foot forward. This is something that I have encountered, especially in the last several months, and it's to the point where I know how to best position a buyer so that they win out. And I mean, I've been very fortunate in that through my guidance, my clients have been the ones that have won out. When you start to pair all of these steps together, knowing what kind of market you're in, putting your best foot forward, limiting the contingencies, really coming in with that special tug on the heartstrings and coming in with your highest and best offer, you cut through all of the crap and you get right to what it is you want. If that home is the home that you want, you do not want to mess around in a seller's market. You want to go in, be best, be strong, and just get the deal done. So I'm going to go ahead, recap these 6 strategies again. So basically, you want to be prepared, have that pre-approval in place, talk to your agent about what's happening in the market, and that way so that you can go into the buying process as prepared as possible. Be as accommodating as you can to the seller's needs. If you are able to accommodate them, that is going to be the best thing to do. Step number 3, increase your earnest money deposit. It shows the seller that you are more serious about the property and following through with the contract. Number 4, again, letter to the sellers, tug on those heartstrings. Number 5, include only the necessary contingencies that you need to get the deal done. And then number 6 is coming in with your highest personal and best offer. So that is a wrap for today's topic. Again, this is really timely with everything that's going on, especially in the Nashville market. So if you ever have any questions about the home buying process, what the market looks like in Nashville, if there is ever anything that I can do to help you, please don't hesitate to reach out. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I will see you back here next week.